recording here. And once again, thanks again for joining me. I'm Bren, having a little garden chat here about Twitter. Even though I am a gardener, I'm a foodie too. I'm a mom. I wear lots of different hats. The really cool thing about the topic we're going to talk about today is Twitter. And Twitter is for everybody. And it's a great place where you can connect with all different types of people and learn how to do just about anything, or just, I don't know, sometimes Twitter can even cheer you up. You just can know some basic how-tos. And so this is a Blab presentation, and I want to thank everybody who's joining me today. If you're actually in the chat room right now live, please hit the Twitter button there. Tweet this out to your friends. It would be great to get them in here, and I'm excited to hopefully get some questions from you all. So what we're going to be talking about today is just the basics of Twitter. So if you're in the chat room with us today, I would love it if you could type a 1 if you're in Twitter, if you're on Twitter, if you have a Twitter account, please. All right, that's awesome. So, and Twitter can be a little confusing. And I will admit, I've been on since 2009, and there was actually a time, yes, Delta Gardner shares that it's so much fun, and it really is. But you know what? There was actually a time that I tweeted that I did not like Twitter. This was way back, a good few months before we really got active in the building garden chat and great communities like that. I actually tweeted it, and it was. Have you ever tweeted you didn't like something, specifically Twitter? And it was, I was thankful that a landscape designer actually out in California saw my tweet, which I felt at the time no one saw what I was tweeting. I'm just tweeting garden stuff and mom stuff and what's going on here. And so anyway, she had tweeted and suggested, hey, have you ever heard of TweetDeck? And it took that nice little tweet to get me even more active and start figuring this out, because first of all, wow, someone actually paid attention and saw what I was tweeting. So that was important. So if you're new, once again, I feel kind of lonely in here. I'm used to having a guest host or somebody here. So let me go ahead. If you don't know who I am, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Bren. I live and I grow in Zone 5B, Ohio. If you don't know what a zone is, I encourage you to pop onto Twitter and follow at USDA. You can even put hardiness zone in the search box, or better yet, put garden chat, hashtag garden chat in your search box, and pull that down, and you'll see lots of different people sharing about hardiness zones. So what that is, it's basically a mapping system that helps us decide when we should grow things, how we should grow things like seeds and so on. But that's totally another conversation, right? So I see Algae Works. I think that's Laura. She says, I'm Twitter stumped. I joined just to enter a Rafflecopter contest. That's great. To me, it's just, you're sending out information. Well, that's a good point. I love this. So if you're in here live, if you're watching this live, please share what Twitter means to you. That's a great conversation. But let me show you. So you think Twitter is just rambling? Well, I have this great chart that I found. I spoke recently up at the Michigan Landscape Nursery Association, sharing with garden center owners and nurserymen and grower about all the cool things that go on in Twitter. And so this chart right here basically shows that Twitter is not going away. Okay. It's not. It just keeps growing. And so that's why, it's really important to, go, dive in there, just get sharing, right? In fact, I'm going to share just a little bit more about me, because as a gardener, I live in Ohio, like I said. I'm out in the boonies pretty much, and my neighbors are cows and cornfields and soybeans, and combines drive by. And, so I've only lived out here about 13 years. I came from a very small, tight community in town in Ohio. It wasn't a huge town, but it was great. It was social. I could walk out my door and people were walking by. I was very active in the community, seeing people every day. So obviously moving out to the country was a big shock for me. And I finding Twitter for me was life. It was social. Like now, even though I live out where no one is, I can communicate with hundreds, thousands of people just like you. So LJ is in the chat room here, and she's asking, I was going to ask your thoughts about the impact or competition Instagram is on Twitter. That's a really good question. I'm very active on Instagram as well. And Instagram to me seems like, hey, Zeph, so glad you joined. That's why I need to pop in here and help me out. She's the chat blab queen. I just adore Zeph. And once again, if it weren't for Twitter, I probably would never have found sweet Zeph. Definitely. So, okay, so Instagram's cool too, because what Instagram does, it's a lot like Twitter. You can share great photos, but you also can elaborate a lot more on the Instagram feed, right? Because on Twitter, you can only include 140 characters, which can be quite the challenge. Definitely. So let's see here. What do we get? We got another question. If anybody would like to join me in here, I would love that, because that's a cool thing about Twitter or about Blab, excuse me. You can have people pop in and ask questions live and just elaborate on things. So what I'm sharing here is a really cool, it's like a third party. Well, actually, it's a website. So if you're curious and you're on Twitter, but you don't remember like when the last time you tweeted, you can go to myfirsttweet.com and it will actually show you what your first tweet was. And I think that's pretty cool. So, hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Bren, and you can follow me on Twitter at BG_garden. And so today what I was hoping we could do is we could connect, and I just want to share a few tips with you about Twitter and what I've learned on Twitter. Let's see. So if you're on Twitter and you're joining us live in the presentation today on Blab, if you could please put in the chat forum there, what is your Twitter handle? I'd love to follow you, and I think it would be great if we all connected with one another on there. That would be just great. So here we go. I've got another slide for you. So just for you Facebook fans out there, I think it's important to know that Facebook actually tried to purchase Twitter quite a few times here. Okay. So that says something, because Facebook's kind of recognized as the social media giant, right? And look at that, so why would they want to purchase Twitter? Great to see everyone. Thanks for joining on today. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Boxes are funny here. We got it. Okay. So let me share a little bit about myself and what really helped me get active more so on Twitter, was finding a great community and actually building a great community called Garden Chat. So Garden Chat's been around since about 2009, and there was a group of us who kept talking on Twitter. And like you're saying, we're trying to figure out, how do we make Twitter work for us, right? And there's lots of different chats. There's, I know a group of us from Garden Chat before Garden Chat was around. We engaged on Ag Chat, which is awesome. It's about farming, it's about your food. But, you know, it wasn't quite for the home gardener. We kind of wanted our own space. So a group of us got talking, and here it came. You know, we created a chat, which has been around now, like I said, since 2009. And basically what I've done is created a website for it. And every Monday night we meet, and gardeners can connect and ask questions, and you learn all kinds of cool stuff. So yes, this is really fun with all you guys. We've got quite a few people in the chat room. Thank you for joining today. And so let me, let's see, I want to show you a little, I'm throwing up slideshows here just to show you a little bit visual of, so what we've done on Garden Chat, which you can visit Garden Chat pretty much any time of the day, right? 24/7. There's people who come on. This is a Twitter chat forum. They come on around the globe pretty much 24/7, right? And share all kinds of things, recipes, what they're growing. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Yikes, it gets kind of lonely in a blab. Once again, you know, if you're joining us and you have questions and you feel like coming on live, please. Okay, so Zeph is on. And Zeph is asking, let's see, I'm going to pull your question up. Oh, yay, Zeph's coming on. Woo, yay. Okay, stay there, girlfriend. Save me. No, just kidding.
Hey,
there you are. Woo. Hey, girl.
Great job. You're doing a good job. You know what? I'm glad you even do this because Twitter, I know you're good. You're good. You know, I got to share. Twitter was never my thing, never has been, but, you know, because of live streaming and because of the two platforms that I use, Periscope and Blab, I've had to learn. So I've had to like learn and kind of do the sexy stuff, but now I need to kind of do some of the basic stuff. So which is, I'm glad that you are showing and sharing this information. I just want to know, how do you do that? See, I have to ask now. I'm asking you, girl. How do you do that, that Twitter chat thing?
Oh, that's a lot of fun. So basically what you do, okay, so you're going to set up a Twitter account, which I know you have, and that's what I hope to touch base a little bit on today in this blab. So you have your Twitter account, and you just go up into the search bar, and you're going to put the hashtag Garden Chat, right? And all of a sudden, you'll see all these tweets that are coming through. And
okay, so basically it's hashtag based.
Yes, yep, which is categorizing, right?
Got it. Got it.
Yes, so we meet the Garden Chat, the official like Garden Chat chat forum where we have a scheduled topic is actually from 9 to 10 on every Monday. It's been every Monday since 2009 when we started. So consistency, right? If you want to start a chat, keep it consistent. 9 to 10 ET, and it's a lot of fun. Did that help a little?
Yes, absolutely. And I think what's great that you mentioned, Brent, is that the fact, you know, for people like me who, still, you know, I started learning Twitter, is that the fact that you kind of need to also, we need to remind people that to use the hashtag because that is what we use to kind of get to congregate, right? And there's so many other tools out there across the internet. One of the tools that you all can use is called tagboard.com. If you go to tagboard.com and just do hashtag garden chat, you will see everything that comes in, not only through Twitter, but also through Facebook, through Instagram, and you get to pull all your hashtag for garden chat. So that's a great thing to have. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really, what was the name of that again?
Tagboard. I'm going to put it right in here. So for some of you, this is very event-based oriented. And I even learned about this Tagboard from the first Periscope Summit because they used it to kind of share all the tweets that's coming on from everywhere that use that particular hashtag. So if you're doing event-based, Tagboard would do that very well.
Okay.
I believe we do, Laura, if I'm not mistaken. And you can sign out with, I think you can sign out with a Twitter. I can't remember because I had my intern set this up. But yep, but you can literally just go in there and find for hashtag garden chat, and you'll see all the hashtags used from all over. So, which is really
Very
cool.
cool. That's
Yeah, you
very
can
cool.
see different people doing it from Instagram, from Twitter, from Facebook. So from Google Plus, you get to see the whole thing, which is really cool. And you can reply immediately. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you get to participate much on any like actual Twitter chats or not really?
Not really, because the thing is that I usually just have my interns take care of all the activities on stream, because it's a lot to do, right? You and I know it's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
But I think it's great that you set it up like event based. Like somebody was asking about, you've heard of Twitter parties. I think you can turn it into a Twitter party, right? And you can do a Twitter party, and you can use tools like Techboard and just monitor your hashtags and then tweet and have a conversation. I've not done one of the Twitter parties just because never been a Twitter person. So I'm also learning, Brand, from you.
I know, but that's what I love because, about Blab, with Blab, it's like making Twitter explode even more. Just that collaboration there. It's amazing. So you have a Twitter account, right?
Yes.
So, that's, if anybody's new here and you do not have a Twitter account, I recommend, do not use your mobile device to set up your Twitter account, even though you can. Just get right in over to your PC or your Mac, whatever you're using, and log on to twitter.com, set up your account on there. Very important, right? So how long have you been on Twitter, Zeph? Do you remember?
Well, I started Twitter way when I started my business, but like I said, it was never my platform because I was on Google Plus, I was on YouTube, I was mostly on Facebook, Excuse me. So, but yeah, I never was big on Twitter. It was overwhelming for me at that time. But now, again, with anything that you do in business, right, you just have to roll with the punches and quickly learn to see how you can optimize the use of it to benefit you. Because I think that's where we all, as we learn all these 300 platforms that we think we need to be on, right? It's just figuring out to get good at it, and just stick with it and go from there, I think. Yeah.
That's very cool. So we've got quite a few people joining us in the chat room here today on Blab. This is fun. I love it. Maybe you're on Twitter and you knew you signed up, you signed up, Zeph signed up. And I hear this from a lot of different, even businesses are like, I made an account for my business, but I do not remember where it is. Where am I? So I had to put Homer on here. I just love this little picture here. So it's like,
are you using ManyCam? Are you using ManyCam?
Yeah.
Did you get the basic package?
I did go ahead and purchase the little one, the next one up. Yeah. Right. And I love it, which is great.
Okay.
I love it. It's great. It's a little hard to do the whole thing by yourself. It's just like any platform.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes a lot of your engine power from your computer.
I almost wonder, because I am having problems. Like, am I lagging right now?
A little bit.
Yeah, it may be. It may be that. Because I was blabbing just fine. And then all of a sudden I keep dropping from so it could be because my internet, actually, the guys have been here and they checked it. Everything's fine. But anyways, I didn't mean to make this all about me.
Brett, Laura has a great question.
Yeah.
You put it up and you'll see. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's the problem here. Okay, here we are. So is spam a problem on Twitter? That's a great question. It can be, definitely, especially if you are running a Twitter chat. because, some people are, somebody wants to get in on that action and get their point across and be rude. Twitter makes it very easy for them to do that, and maybe that's why you didn't, you may not have liked Twitter, Zeph, but there's a lot of really great new tools that have come out over the past year on Twitter that can help get rid of that spam. So, they're still going to be there, but you can't see it. Okay.
Like anything else, right? Whether you're live streaming on Blab, you're live streaming on Periscope, anything else. I mean, this is the world of technology that we live in. We basically just have to manage and learn how to manage them as we go. Yeah, you're gonna get people spamming you all the time, but you just have to figure out your countermeasures. How do you respond to that?
Definitely. That's right on. So say if you're on Twitter, and actually I didn't pull up a slideshow for this. I was basically going to talk about how you set up your Twitter account, but I love this. On Blab, you just got to jump in and just do it. Right, Zeph?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you go up, you can do this on your mobile phone, which I've read in most of the social media, like if you read Mashables or even on Twitter, they do polls. Most people use their mobile devices when on Twitter. So it's really easy. If you click on that spam account, be careful. Don't click their links they're sharing, because that's how you're going to get a virus. You go up and you'll look on your mobile device and there's like a little setting wheel. If you just click on that, a bar will drop down and you can do all kinds of things with that account there. And so what you're going to want to do, if they're really spamming inappropriate things, definitely report them before you block them. Especially if they're tweeting out things about you or, harassing you, you definitely want to report that, and then you can block them. A lot of times, just because I run a Twitter account, a Twitter-based chat, I don't block my spammers. I don't block those crazy people who put things on the Twitter chat. I made a list. You can make a list, and I kind of watch them because I want to know, what are they saying? Because sometimes you can learn a lot about the negative. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe I sound crazy. I'm everyone. No, I am crazy.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Very cool. So let's see here. Actually, do you mind, Zeph? I might try clicking on you here, making you a host too, so you have a little bit more control here. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think I got you on there. All right. Did that come up?
It says I am a host, but let me see. Let me just refresh my page.
Okay. Very cool. Thanks again, everyone, for joining today. I appreciate the questions here. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and, hey, there she's back. Did that work?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool. Yay. One thing about Blab, like I said, yes, I will take the title that I am Twitter queen, especially when we're comparing it to Blab, because Blab, I'm not so much the Twitter queen or the Blab queen. Right? I am sitting with the Blab queen, Zeph.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. But yeah.
So, I don't know how I did that. I meant to bring Kristen's question over. How do I get started? Is that the question there? Here we go. I see it here. We can pin it again, I think. Okay. There we go. Thank you for your questions, by the way, Kristen. And please, anyone, if you're joining us today on the Blab Live, just do a /Q and then space and ask your question. We're talking about Twitter basics today. So Kristen asked, this is great. How do I get started? Do I follow first steps? Basically, okay, so you've set up your Twitter account, right? You are going to definitely want to be on a PC or your Mac. And you're going to want to click up on the right-hand corner of your screen up there. You'll see a little setting box. And so you're going to click on those settings and you want to pull that menu down. Is that making sense? I think I do have a picture of it here. So here's a picture of my Twitter account. I'm at BG_garden. And right up in the corner there next to my little profile picture, you'll see, you just click on that in the profile setting, and you'll get a bunch of goodies there. Right? Am I confusing you? Zeph?
No, you're doing good, girl. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Did you have? Are you able to? Because I know you're using ManyCam. Are you able to share the screen?
Oh, I did. Did it not come up?
I probably didn't see it on my site. Okay. Can
Okay.
you show that again?
Yes, I can do that. It's just a pretty picture of my sunflowers.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
And if you, what that is, I zoomed in up on my, the top settings of my Twitter. You have to be on twitter.com. You have to go to your home page there. Let me pull up another slide here just to highlight some of the goodies that are really important for you to fill out on that Twitter account. So we're on twitter.com. We're at our homepage. We've got our name, and you're going to want to pull down that settings. You want to make sure you go into email notifications. It's very important because you want to know who's engaging with you, and you want to engage back, right? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely. There you go.
Another really important tip about Twitter, which I know Zeph can testify to this too. She's really good about this, is being consistent with, I'm sure. Did you have a special technique, like when you started signing up for all the different platforms that arrive? Did you have any
current picture
strategy?
Use a current picture, and pretty much that picture needs to look the same throughout all your social profiles. I think, it could be the same. You know what I mean? What I mean by current picture and looks the same on all social networks. You can take one picture and use that for all your social networks, or you can take a very current picture and make sure all your other social network profiles look like that. Because sometimes you have shorter hair, you have longer hair. What I mean is it needs to kind of look like you at the end of the day. Let's just start with that. And I think many people don't think about it, especially when you have a business, because sometimes a LinkedIn profile looks professional, and then suddenly the Facebook is just totally different. Maybe you have a longer hair, or you wear glasses, right? Don't let other people find a way to filter it out. You're gonna have to do that for them. Yeah.
Definitely. I need to work on that, because one thing my hair changes a lot, though.
Right. But we still know that it's you, which is good.
Yes. Okay. I try to wear my pink a lot. So
yes, there you go.
I want to just go back over to the settings again. I don't know if you can see that. Is that print? Maybe it's too small for on here. You just basically see, when you pull down that setting bar, when you're over at the twitter.com on your PC or on your Mac, just go through every one of those settings and, set them up. You don't just ignore it. Just don't make your name and here I am and expect everybody to come flocking to your Twitter, right? So we've had some great
similar description for everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we've had some great questions over here. Let's see. There we go. Let's pull this one up by Laura. All right. So when adjusting those settings, what is meant by tailored for you? Oh, okay. Now, tailored for you on the Twitter, I think that's, I haven't really studied up on that so much, but I think that is basically what Twitter's done there is they've kind of, they're studying you, just as much as you're trying to learn from others on there too. So what they've done, I believe, is they pick up on your search words and different things that you're searching for. And so they've created like a nice little list on that, when you're on your twitter.com on the actual browser, not on your mobile. And it's a great way if you click over there, take a look at it, which obviously I need to do a little bit more. I get so busy just following Garden Chat and connecting with people over there. Sometimes I don't pay attention to the trending and what they think is good for me. Does that make sense? That's a little more than 101 here, but that's cool that you're looking at it. So let's see here. There's a lot of questions here. I feel like I'm missing some. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Got a little dead air time there here. Be sure to add good, Kristen over Delta Gardner. She says, be sure to add a good profile, as that's what new followers look for. That's right. I actually wanted to share a great example of being consistent, and you always know when you're talking to Lisa Steele, who is at Fresh Eggs Daily. Definitely follow her. I don't care what niche you're in. She is just a delightful person. And as you can tell, like this picture here I have, it's her Twitter and it's what her website looks like. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell which is which.
That's the branding part. Yes.
Yeah, she did a great job. Don't you think?
Yes. So that's basically what it is, right? If you have a logo, well, the branding is just not the logo, but basically if somebody sees a picture or a sentence or whatever, like for instance, the Nike swoosh, right? If you just see that without the word Nike, you know what it is, right? It's the brand. So it's the same thing with whatever you do with your brand. It's basically like, how do you want to be seen, perceived through all the social networks? So it has to have some sort of a coherence in there with your branding. Yeah.
Right, definitely. And so that kind of touches base on Laura, who's in the chat room live right now. She says, I see a design option. Is that necessary, a good idea, or purely optional? I'm mostly, because I'm a gardener and I come from an art background, I think the design is probably the first place I click because I like color. And that design right there is basically where you're going to mimic what you have on your website or your blog, which, so Twitter is microblogging, but I'm still kind of old school. I still believe that everything should start at your website. Do you agree, Zeph?
Yes, absolutely.
I lose that a lot because I get sucked into Twitter so much, and I'm putting lots of content on Twitter because Twitter's and Blab and Periscope, it's live streaming. I mean, it's the real deal. Like, it's so easy for me to be out and turn on Periscope and start showing, and blogging virtually. But, I still think you got to remember to pull all that over to your website, right? Yeah. I get sidetracked.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you definitely have to be, consistent, basically, in your branding. Yeah, absolutely.
That's hard. Let's see. Oh, we have a really long question. And now on my Blab, I don't know if it's because I'm using Chrome, but we have a really long question from WPC Guy, and I can't see it. Like, it's not there. Do you see it?
It's up there. Yeah, it's up there.
There we are. Now. Okay. Thank you. So, thanks for doing this, Blabcast. So thank you. Thanks for joining. Twitter can be, it's easy. It's easy to do. Don't let me scare you. It's kind of hard to try to take everything Twitter's about and put it in a little presentation. I mean, I'd really like to do more of these and just focus on just basic little steps, right? Because I mean, it's kind of like, Rome wasn't built in a day, or, don't expect that. Don't expect, I'm going to set up a Twitter account.
It happens overnight. No.
Yeah, right. I'm going to set up a Twitter account and I'm going to be a rock star and I'm going to have like 1 million followers, So I've been on since 2008, I think is when I first tweeted. And I only have like 20,000 followers, which it seems like a lot being a gardener, but really considering how long I've been on, it's really not that many. Anyways, so let's see. Thanks for doing this broadcast. May I ask, to what viruses were you referring? I'm asking because I'm not aware of any iPhone or iPad users being affected. Good question, or good point there. Do you have anything on that, Zeph, too?
No, I've never heard of that. What did you mention that earlier about the viruses?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So what I was referring to was on the Twitter.com. So when you're on your PC, I'm a PC user. Maybe that's the problem. I know I give people with a Mac a hard time, but so I'm on the PC, and what I was referring to is if you'll have an account on Twitter and they'll share, they could even tweet to you with a URL. Do not click on that. Do not click on it.
Yep.
Even if you think it's a picture, don't click on it, because it could be, and in fact, I've even seen this happen with a company, like a grower, a small company, a small business. They had a Twitter account sharing beautiful flowers, and then their account got hacked. Okay. Somebody went in there and they said, oh, check out this pretty flower. And there was a link. Okay, you want to be very careful. You can get viruses when you click on those links, and it will just blow your computer up. Now, on the iPhone and the iPad, which I own both, I've had both for probably 5 or 6 years, right? I've never had a virus. How about you, Zeph? I think, aren't you?
I'm not an iPad or iPhone user, so I'm an Android person. So I've never experienced that. Again, here's the bottom line with whatever or wherever you are, whether you're on your computer or your tablet or on your phone, is just being mindful to the links that you click on. Okay, because it's a general thought, right? You just have to be mindful of what you're clicking on, because one of the reasons why I say that is before I even click on any links, one of my way of gauging, see how good this is, it could also probably be about you checking out the profile that is tweeting this out to you, which is very important, right? If this is a trusted profile, it's as hard as it is to see it, to know what is a, contaminated post or not, or tweet. But if you could at least do very basic stuff like general, which is checking out the profile of the person tweeting out to you, that could help. It's not the sure way, but it sure could help. Yeah.
Right. Very cool. So WPC guy has some great information. And in fact, he's got a neat topic there, which you kind of covered that on a blab earlier, which actually kind of inspired me to go ahead and put this blab up, because it was like, you know what, do what you're good at, just do it, right? You said something along those lines earlier with your creative girls. Help me out there. Tell me your Facebook page. Maybe people can follow you there, Steph.
What's that?
For your creative chat.
Oh, for the Creative Chat Cafe? Yeah. People can just go to the website, which is cchatcafe.com. And I'm going to put in the link right here so that you can just go check it out. And we have all the information for the shows right there. And you can definitely check it out. I have that as my Wednesday shows. And my Thursday shows are the Momentum Tribe Mojo show. So, yeah.
Right. Very cool.
Definitely get information there.
Yeah. So what, let's see, WPC guy was talking about was what Blab is. You're better at that. Maybe you could explain. It's not quite like Google Hangouts. It's a little less formal than you explain.
Well, I don't know, WPC guy. Not you're saying Blab is not live streaming, and I say yes it is, and so is Google Hangouts, because it has a Google Hangouts is streaming. As long as you start recording, it is a video conferencing platform. Video conferencing platform could also be Appear.in. It could also be JoinMe.in. There's Zoom. There's a lot of the other stuff, but it's streaming. As long as you go live, when you press the record and it transmits live online, that is live streaming. Does that make sense to everybody? Whether you categorize it as video conferencing call or not, right? It really depends on the features built in each platform. The thing is with live streaming, as long as you press that record button and it goes live and it's publicly streamed online, that's live streaming platform, whether it's video or not video, right? So if for you to say, my point is that it is not the case that mobile users of Twitter that should be open a link from a tweet, and it's like the SPC users being affected by it. Oh, okay.
You even read fast.
I do.
That's awesome.
Holy cow. But I think back to, I was just saying, of course, everybody will have a different interpretation, but because I've used Google Hangouts for a long time, and I've learned from some of the best live streamers, right, in Google Hangouts. I learned from Ronnie Binster. Yeah, it's a video conferencing tool. When you're not recording, it's a video conferencing tool because you're there. You're in a room with people. Right. But as long as you record something and you press a button, it transmits live online, that is live streaming. whether it's Blab or Google Hangouts on Air. So that's my understanding of live streaming. I've been taught that way. So I hope that makes sense to some people. As far as what's the other part of the question? Blab is not live streaming. Blab is a video conferencing platform. That's where I think I differ a little bit in understanding, because I said anything that goes stream live and you press record, it goes live out there in the world. That's live streaming. Not unlike Google Hangouts. Well, Google Hangouts is both. It has a video conferencing feature, which is the Google Hangouts itself. The Google Hangouts on Air is the live streaming, which is built into YouTube. And Periscope, Meerkat, yeah, they're all live streaming, because it's just another way, another platform for live streaming, because it really takes one button that says start broadcast and you're streaming, right? So yeah, so that's my take on the difference between whether you want to call it video conferencing or live streaming. That's basically what it is. So yeah, and I'm not so sure what WPC guy is talking about. My point is that it is not the case that mobile users of Twitter that should open a link from a tweet are not as likely as our PC users. Exactly. I agree. Because PC is much more, fragile. That it's all the engine inside your computer. Any link can really just open it up and really infect you with the viruses. So you just have to be careful. I'm married to a geek. When it goes beyond that, maybe Scott Gombar, who's here, could jump in and explain a little bit on that, because I think the difference between the PC and also tablet or mobile users, they have more built-in, protection features in there, so it's not easy to get those viruses. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. But on PC, it's much more vulnerable. So. Because I'm married to a geek, so he keeps reminding me that my own tech support says, don't be touching any of those links on your computer. If you
right.
I'm like, okay, great, thank you. But yeah.
Okay, so we got a little sidetracked there, and that's okay.
I know, right? That became a little too technical with the virus thing. I'm like, okay, that's not Twitter.
Right. So, and Growing North, who's a friend of mine on Twitter, we've not actually met personally, but Twitter, that's another awesome thing about Twitter, is just connecting with people. I feel like I know these people, they're like my family, kind of, which is that crazy, but and as a gardener, I want to tell you, if you ever go to my website, which I shared there, brenhaas.com, and you look at my gardens I have there, I am not a member of a local garden club like Reality, like right here. I support them. I go to a lot of garden centers, but I'll tell you what, my gardens are what they are because of Twitter primarily, and people that I've engaged with on social media. I mean, I grow beautiful heirloom roses from help from people in the UK, different vegetables. I mean, it's just Twitter opens that door to all kinds of things, all different niches, even Zen, I would say, or Zeph, I would say, your niche is more, what would you say? It's marketing and business.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Marketing. Yep. Exactly. I'm more of a marketing person. Right. Yes.
So, okay. But we can't use that as a Twitter example because you don't really use Twitter so much.
Well, I'm still learning. Which is, what I think the main takeaway from Twitter, right, from what I've experienced, it really gets you connected. There's, so I might be wrong, but from what I've learned from some people, and I know that it's all about their algorithm, they're able to even connect you to your targeted audience with certain keywords. It doesn't take too much time to filter out the people or connect the people that you want to connect with. So it's more about the targeted following. And I see it now because before I wasn't on Twitter, I didn't understand it. Now that I'm using Periscope and Blab, and I see how Twitter is helping me grow my following, my targeted following. That's most important, right? Because whatever, without being too technical, the takeaway from this is the fact that it can help you get to your targeted followers faster and much more targeted.
Sure, definitely. So Laura's got a great question about Twitter. When I get a notice that I have a direct tweet, but it uses some sort of verified service, I don't know how to get that message. I think what you're talking about is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in the chat room, you can type it in there. I think you're talking about when you go to follow someone, you'll get a private message on your Twitter saying that they use a Verify account, okay, personally, and please, you social media tech people, don't get mad at me, I really don't like those third-party apps. Being a gardener, we're more personable, and I can speak for the majority of them. They're very, I don't know, they're like real and down to earth. And I think those verification, I know they're supposed to be to help prevent you from getting viruses, but what they do to me is I end up not wanting to follow that person because it's some third party thing that I don't even know is saying, well, they may follow you if we verify you. And I don't know, it just kind of takes the fun out of Twitter. Was that kind of your question? I hope. She says, a lot of them are auto responds. You're right. See, Twitter to me is engaging for real, the real deal. I want to, so, and let's talk about that a little bit because, as a gardener and all the social media I do and a mom and just everything, some people say, I don't know how you're like on everything. You're everywhere. Well, a lot of that is because of the mobile. Okay. So what I started out talking about today with Twitter 101 is the main takeaway I want you to have from that is to set up your account, go in there on a PC or a Mac and set up your settings. It's very important that you put your website and where people can find you because even if you don't use Twitter, other people are using Twitter. And so if they pull up your name or do a search, your account's going to come up. If you haven't filled out your name or your garden center or your media company, how are they going to be able to click and find you, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm seeing a conversation here in the message right here on the right side, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's all about these auto DMs, right? Trust me, when I started Twitter, no fun. Not a fan too. But here's where I want you all to think about this. And I know some of you guys, the social media experts, are probably going to yeah, and I agree. That's where from a recipient end, I agree that, auto DMs can be like, holy cow. Here's the thing. Think about this, right? Because I'm such a process person and I wanted to take it all in and cater it and customize this thought process to you, okay? Yes, auto DMs are like, oh, like it's no thought, not creative. No, absolutely not. But here's my thought process for you. If you have 1,000 followers and you want to make sure you feel like you want to engage with them, you have to somehow automate something, right? Because can you imagine you replying to 1,000 followers a day? Doesn't matter if it's 1,000, try 50. Yeah. If you're a busy person, you're trying to get back to them, because then all you'll be doing is really replying people through an engagement. Do you know what I mean? So what I've done, right? The fact that I don't really like auto DMs, but what I've done is do this because I saw this. I was inspired by an auto DM, which I get it. Here's the thing, what I did. I took the time to craft my message, and I was being very clear as to my message. So this is the branding part that comes in. Some of you who have seen me on Blab know my personality, 200 miles per hour, right? But I cannot be answering every person's private message on Twitter. That's probably why the first time I got a little bit overwhelmed with Twitter and didn't want to do Twitter, because I felt that I have to be present for everybody every time, every day when they reply, right? And I couldn't find the time to sit down and reply at every time. So auto DMs work great to kind of quickly say, hey, Brent, thank you so much for following me, right? For this. This is where your personality, and you have to be creative a little bit with your craft and branding yourself. So what my auto DMs kind of sound like is, oh my God, Brian, thank you so much for following me. I know I want you to know that I truly appreciate you, but you know what? You and I know this is an automated message. It may sound robotic, but I promise you, I am not any close to being robotic. That is exactly my message in my auto DM. Right? So you can craft something like that, because I was inspired by somebody who did that. I'm like, great way to really bring the essence of who I am. Right. So I crafted that message, but the auto DM doesn't have like, oh, go download my stuff, or, oh, go, I just say, thank you so much for connecting with me. But I want you to know that I truly appreciate you. But I have to say, this is auto DM because it may sound robotic, but I'm not robotic. So if you want to see proof that I'm not robotic, come watch me on Blab. Then that's my social proof that I'm not robotic. So you can do something like that.
Yeah.
So I've gotten a few people who responded, holy cow, that was an auto cool DM. I was like, huh, I didn't think somebody would say that to me. But the fact is, think about this. If you have 100 people following you every day, do you really want or have the time to really be creative? Of all person brand, I think you know me by now. I am a talker, I'm a blabber, but I have to figure out a way to help me connect with my audience even when I'm not there, because I cannot be spending every minute trying to talk to somebody on Twitter and I have to get a Blab and I have to do Periscope too. Oh my God. But before you do it, you're not doing anything in your business. All you're doing is replying. You're really just talking, So ask yourself, is that what you want? So you have to figure out what tools work for you, the process, and then craft something that matches your personality, how you want yourself to be known to the other person. Does that make sense?
Right. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I think, auto DMs can go either way. It's just how you use it. Yeah, because I don't see myself replying 100 person's engagement if I get 100 followers that day. I want to be cool.
I mean, I don't think and you may get lots of followers every day. I don't think it's really important on Twitter to actually respond to each one of them just because they followed you. I mean, there's a lot of people I follow and I'm not really following. I use what Twitter has called a list. So you can make lists, because that's another, Blab event here we could talk about is lists and who to follow. I definitely want to talk about that because who you follow reflects you. Just like, so you're using you're using the DM and you're using the private messaging, which is a great way to kind of like, instead of tweeting to that person, saying, hey, thanks for following me. So kind of like the DM will kind of protect you. Whereas if you tweet to somebody, thank you for following me, publicly, you really want to check that account out because whatever you share on there, everyone's going to see. And, even though they have a cute little daisy flower or, I'm not specifically picking on someone if you have a daisy flower in your profile, but, just because they have a cute little account and they've got their name up there, it doesn't mean they're who they are. And you don't know, the next tweet after following you could be something really bad that you don't want to be affiliated with or associated with, correct?
Yes, exactly. So, but the thing is, again, whatever it is, right? And I totally respect what you just said, Roy North. You say you disagree, and auto DM on some platforms are okay. On Twitter, on auto DM generally leads to auto follow. Here's the thing, right? When it comes to business, I don't care what process that you use, it has to somehow get you more leads, more clients, get the paying part, right? Here's the thing. If somebody auto follows you, then probably, they're not your ideal client or your ideal. Hello, right? So if we were to question that, like everything that we do becomes like, oh my God, microscopically, like, is this right? Should I be doing this? Right? You need to test it out first and see what happens. And if it works for you, include that as part of your system. And if it doesn't, you tweak it till you get better at it and you get results. The most important thing is there's so much stuff with social media that I can throw up right now, right? Like, right. Here's the thing. Brand, you've heard me say this in my shows. 2016, I told everybody it's all about the download to upload, right? Because there's so much logistics to even do one thing, which is let's do Twitter. What are the basics? There's so much, like so many steps, right? Are you really going to spend time on everything there? Because you have to take a look at that process because sometimes it's not going to get to your ideal client. They're not get you to the people that are going to pay you to do what you need to do. Then is it worth that step? Do you know, or is it worth like, oh my God, microscopically talking or thinking about it? But yes, you have to have a strategy. You have to test it out. You have to have the system, and you're on Blab to learn from one another. Take what is good for you, run with it, even if it's the most basic, simple step. Get good at it, and then that's your fortress, and just keep on repeating it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's I
Yeah.
think what it is. At the end of the day, it's so much noise. Everybody's saying A, B, C, D, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I gotta do this all. I'm like, no. Pick 5 first and then get you really good at it, right?
Yeah.
Filter out what's not good, doesn't work. Build
Right.
your fortress system and run with that. And just keep on doing that for the longest time. One thing I learned from the movie actor Tyler Perry, Brent,
Mm-hmm.
was a video that he did on his Facebook page, and he said, people keep asking me, how did I get here? Like, how did I become who I am today? And he says, there were so many distractions when I was growing up. He says, I didn't know what I want to do, but I focused on one thing, which
Mm-hmm.
was, I know I wanted to be in this industry. I knew I whatever the challenges are, I had to figure it out. So it's the same thing with business. It comes down to like figure it out, right? And get good at it.
Definitely. So that's a great tip. I think if you're new to Twitter and basics of Twitter, I would not recommend diving into these automatic tweets, because when you sign up for these, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a third party app. If you're new to basic, you're new to Twitter, keep it basic. Don't start going off to all these different apps that you connect to your Twitter. And if you're curious if you have some of those third-party apps attached to your Twitter, you definitely should go into your settings. There's a section in that pull down menu that says app. I think it still says apps. It should say app. Open that up and look at that. I look at that at least twice a month just to see, because even when you respond on blogs, sometimes it will attach an app. It won't allow you to comment on your favorite blog unless you use their app, right? I don't like those. That's how you get viruses too, or that's how you get hacked. You can get hacked. Which, knock on wood, I've never been hacked. Thank goodness. Please don't attack me now. So Philip had a great question. Now, Philip is a garden center owner, I believe up in Minnesota, and he's asking, which of these platforms do you think would be most useful, accepted by the public or his customer? That's kind of why I started this blab that we're doing today, is Twitter. I really believe in Twitter. I've seen the power of Twitter. I recommend it for everybody. I mean, I think, here's Twitter for me and here's Facebook. Sorry. I really love Twitter because it's so real and quick. I mean, what better way, as being gardeners, to show off what you're growing and like get reality, like get real comments from people about what they think about that plant, or, if you're at a favorite restaurant or something and you want to talk about it, you tweet it real quick right there. There it is. So I recommend Twitter. Zaf, I know what's probably your favorite platform right now?
Blab, of course.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, for me right now, that's basically what I do, and I just want to say, just saying to WPC guy here, I know you probably have your own definition. Here's the thing, right? You cannot possibly make everybody happy with the definitions, whether this is live streaming or not. But this is what I know that I've learned, and to all this live streaming platforms or live streaming apps, basically, I think you have a great topic of discussion there, WPC guy. That probably is another topic for a different day. And yeah, I'm sure, maybe Scott Gombar can host that discussion. Live streaming, is Blab really live streaming or not? Because I think that's a great topic to discuss, because many people have different versions of live streaming. So, but for me, I love Blab because it really is changing the way we connect with people, and also the way we do business, right? Mm-hmm. And back in those days, I keep on saying we have to do 20 customer touch points. Hey, I met you at the business networking event. Can I have your business card? Hey, let's make an appointment. Let's do a phone call. Oh my God, that's exhausting, right? So these days, just being here on Blab, being here present with you, Brent, I get to connect with you better. I get a sense of feel of who you are, and I get to, understand what your business is all about, how you connect with people, how you serve other people. That's what I like about Blab, in the moment, in real time, right? That's how I think Blab is changing the way we become a community, we connect with one another, how we are there for one another to support to give you support. That's why I love Blab. Because I've constantly heard people say like, oh my God, I'm posting posts on Google Plus or Facebook or Twitter. Nobody's talking to me. Yeah, because it's a ghost town, right? Because in here, you're face to face. You can do the chat conversation. You can do the video conversation. So it makes it real. And I think people get its essence of the real you, right? And how you connect with people. That's a great thing. Yeah.
Okay.
The next best thing to being in a room with you.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe we don't need to answer, Pam. I appreciate everybody's questions there, but I think we touched base on that. What's better, more silent automatic followers or fewer high quality connections who listen, read, and amplify your message? That's
Which
a good
one
question.
Is that?
I have it pulled up. No worries. But
I see it on the screen. Is it the Gray North question?
Yes. What's better, more silent automatic followers or fewer high quality connections who listen, read, and amplify?
Wherever here's the thing I've learned also, some automatic followers are actually engagers too, because I've had like probably at least 10 to 15% who reply back, because when I send them out and they reply, and I always reply them back because that's when I know they're engagers. So I put them into a list, like probably great people who respond on Twitter or or answers DM, whatever list you want to put in, however you organize them. I think of course all the time is you want to make sure that you connect well with people who respond back to you and have a conversation. Some of them may come from that pool of that auto DMs. Some of them they do come from there. I cannot say that nobody comes from that auto DM. Some of them they do. Yeah. So
totally. So please, if you're joining us live today, feel free to ask a question in the chat room. We'll try to stay on subject a little bit. Somebody had a comment in the chat room. It's kind of hard to stay on one topic in a blab, right?
I know. I actually have to go. I just realized I'm 2 minutes over because I have a call.
Okay, no worries.
So thank you for having me. But this is a great conversation.
Thank you.
I learned a lot from you, girl.
Okay.
And I'm sure, there's so many content from here that makes great topics for another blab. I really do think so. It's just, if you all host it, we'll come. Right?
Yeah, right. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, now I'm going to feel all alone in here without Zeph. So we could wrap this up for the most part. Sorry if I confused everyone. That wasn't my goal here. I really want to encourage you guys to jump on Twitter. And I'm still in here. So, if you want to ask any questions about Twitter, please do. I will do my best to answer you. It's, what I would say, what I want you to take away from this is don't be afraid to get on Twitter, especially if you're on Blab right now. Blab and Twitter work so awesome together. I follow other blabs, especially a lot of these PR groups or PR people and business people, because, I'm trying to build a small business. It's very hard. I rely a lot on what people are sharing on blabs. So what I will do is I'll click on them and I'll tweet them. And what I'm finding, a lot of them, they don't tweet me back, but that's okay. At least I've tweeted them and I've added them to a marketing list that I have. So I am following them. They may not know it, but I'm following them. So let's see here. We have a question. How do you set up or get rid of auto responses when someone follows you? That's a good question. I don't even know if you can do that. Maybe somebody can help me out with that. How do you set up or get of auto responses when someone follows you? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. You could, well, you know what? Now, personally speaking, because I do garden chat, let's see, somebody responded in there. Could you not block the follower? You could. I think it's how you use Twitter. I was primarily focusing today. I really wanted you guys, even though we all are mobile, I wanted to stress the fact that it's very important to jump on your PC and your Mac at least, once a week to check your settings and make sure everything's okay, because you won't get all that
on your mobile devices. The Twitter apps are a lot different than what the presentation and actually, you know, the microblogging you're doing is pretty cool looking. If you look on your Twitter account, which I really recommend everybody to do, go on your Twitter account on, you know, off your mobile and look at what your presence looks like. You know, what is your picture? What's the last thing you tweeted? Did you pin something to the top of your tweets? Do you know what pinning is? That's really important. If you go to my Twitter account right now at BG_garden, I'm really big about my geodesic biodome. I'm excited about growing organic food in my home, and I want other people to learn about that. So I've actually gone in a tweet that I tweeted about my dome, and you can pull out those little 3 dots. You click on those dots, and you can pin that tweet to the top of your Twitter account. So when people come to visit you, that's what they're going to see. So here we go. We have a question from Laura. I know, let's pull it over here on the blab here. So she says, I know blogs and merchant sites need to be set up differently to be viewed on a mobile device. I don't know how to do that. That's pretty deep. That's a little more than a 101. But what I can tell you about, I think what you're referring to here is a business account opposed to a personal account. Both are very important. I think if you know, speaking for myself, I primarily use my BG Garden account, which is more of a business because I'm branding and marketing myself. But I also have a Bren Haas account on Twitter that kind of just sits, but it has tagging that will take you to my website. You want to use both of those completely different. You know, let's see. Well, everything's flying by here. Thanks for joining today, you guys. I see there's a lot of people in the room here. Let's see. WPC guy, I really appreciate your comments here. I think everybody's tweets or everyone's thoughts really matter. So the comments posted on Blab are not transmitting on Twitter. Twitter's social graphic is not integrated into Blab, so Blab followers are different than Twitter followers. That's true. I think what that's, you know, the cool thing about Blab is the way they're connecting, you know, they're open to connect Twitter because they probably see the value in what goes on Twitter maybe. And it's just a great way for us all to connect. This has been fun. I really appreciate seeing a lot of my fellow gardeners on here. This is great. And Philip, can you ask your question again if you're still in here? I may have lost you. Maybe he's not here anymore. I don't see it on here. It popped up. Blab is really cool. Blab is still in beta. There's a lot of technical challenges on there, at least for me with this. And yeah, so this is fun. So let's see. Thanks again, guys. You know, I might just go ahead and sign off. Definitely stop the recording here because we've gone way off, and you know, it's been fun. Great. That's a great topic right there, actually. How do I see just one list and not my whole feed? Okay, so that's where we get into the extra additions on Twitter, which I did kind of mention in the beginning of my blab here. So I was just using the browser Twitter, twitter.com on my PC. And I was getting bored and I didn't really get it. I didn't like it. I felt like I was saying things and no one was really paying attention. I was not utilizing hashtags and things like that. And this landscape designer out in the Bay Area, actually, all the way, I mean, that's like a 5-hour plane ride for me here in Ohio. She saw my tweet and she said, hey, have you heard of TweetDeck.com? So if I were to recommend any other app or addition for you to use to build your Twitter, it would be the TweetDeck.com. Just go to TweetDeck.com. You can register on there. It's great. And when I'm saying that,
I use that on my PC. In fact, if you come in my office, I always have the TweetDecks pulled up, and you can make categories. You can make so I primarily watch what's being shared on Garden Chat. And so you can set that up using TweetDeck, which on twitter.com, it's a little harder to do that. You have to punch it into the search, and there you go. So there's a little tip there. And then even though I follow quite a few people, I don't necessarily see everything that they're sharing, because I follow on TweetDeck, I have my private messages pulled up. I have my notifications, and what notifications is who's tweeting to me, asking me questions. And then my next category is Garden Chat. And, periodically, if I'm working in the landscape, I'll pull up my landscape list, and I can just follow that. And that way I'm seeing what I want to see. And I hope I didn't just confuse you way too much. That was all about TweetDeck. Which I believe is owned by Twitter still. I think they were owned by Twitter. So that, I would say, was a pretty reliable and trustworthy app to have. Let's see. We have more questions here. Laura said oops, and then it flew by. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm using Chrome for